I'm super excited to be in your faces one more time this beautiful Monday. Is it afternoon? I'll call it now. Afternoon, morning, wherever you're watching us across the world, because you have people watching us from different parts of the world. Welcome to Trends, where we keep it real 100. No holdbacks, no, we are 100 real, 100% real, and I'm so excited. Of course, I have no choice, but I'm joined, as always, in the studio by the amazing Ife. Ife, say hello to the people.
Hello.
That's how she'll start quiet now. And it's just a matter of time now. You start hearing revelations that will shock you, right? I mean, it's a beautiful Monday. And what is even more interesting is that today is a special Monday. Now, because of how special today is, we have a guest in the studio. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have an amazing guest. I'm just going to hand over to Ife to do all of the, that's her forte. She enjoys doing that. She's going to give us a brief biography of our amazing guest in the studio today, and then we'll get straight into today's conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ife.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I think we need to get like drums. So anytime I want to do introduction, we can have drum rolls.
Drama like this.
That's what I want to. All right, let me read our guest bio. So you see, I need the drum roll. Just give me. Thank you. I am a passionate medical doctor with core interest in reproductive health, with a particular focus on assisted reproductive techniques, as well as family health, mental health, and lifestyle management. I am dedicated to delivering holistic, patient-centered care that addresses the physical, emotional, and social dimensions of well-being.
My God.
I advocate for accessible fertility solutions, comprehensive family support, mental wellness, and preventive care through lifestyle modification. My broader medical experience include public health and research on disease surveillance systems. I remain committed to advancing healthcare through evidence-based practice and compassionate, community-focused service.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Omoni Noel. You're welcome. This is where you clap. You're welcome on the show, sir. Welcome. We are so excited to have you, Doc, on the show today.
I'm also excited.
It's safe to say we have a Colossus. I mean, when she just kept reading the bio, I'm like, and I can't what you do with your life. I mean, look at this many accolades.
Wow, it's a lot.
Thank you.
Truly celebrate you. Now, someone's wondering, why do we have Doc on the show today, right? But before we even get into the topic of today's topic is very, very important. So I'm gonna have to ask you to share this link, not just because it's a thing we say, share the link and all that. Honestly, you need as many people as possible to jump on today's episode of Trends. So let's have as many people joining. I say we're always gunning. Let's gun for 200 today. Let's have at least 200 people join on this live broadcast. So share the link, invite people, like the broadcast so that the algorithm will help take it wide so we can have as many people join in. But before we even go ahead, I like to give shout outs to those that I can see their comments in the comment section. Big shout out to Mr. Upgrade. He says, good afternoon, Trends. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Upgrade. Ife Olua beloved, hello and good afternoon. Welcome.
Namesake.
Mr. Upgrade also says, hello, Ife and Nakale. Yes, thank you. Even though you are giving my name different spellings, but no, Allah. It's all for the love. I love you guys. Ibukun Olua Elijah says, good afternoon from here. Big shout out to you, Ibukun. Star Queen says, hello. And if you're watching us, please drop a comment so that we can give you a big shout out as we go on today's episode of Trends. Ife.
Yes.
Today is the 30th, if I'm not mistaken,
yes.
of June.
Yes.
It was just yesterday, I mean, like 4 hours ago that were 1st of June. Now, this is just 4 hours after we're on the 30th of June.
That fast.
I mean, Doc, what's June been like for you?
Okay, well, it's been relatively a fast month. It's not as turbulent as last month, I must say. Yeah, last month was quite, yes. And the work stress too was a bit light this month. I don't know whether it's because of the economic situation. People were fine, but
so the irony of your work, right?
Yes.
Is that
somebody's bad luck is
that's the irony. I mean, I once had someone, his dad had had a store where they sell coffins. So we used to always make fun of him in school then. Like, if Bat, I know they joke from that kind of thing. It's terrible, but it's beautiful to see that, all things eventually work together for good. And this is the last month. Oh, this is the last day in the month of what you call it now, June.
Yes.
If there is one thing that you would never repeat, something you did this month that you will not try again, what would it be?
Okay, I'm thinking, is there anything that I will never try again? Nothing comes to mind. I think this month has been excellent.
Did you gym this month?
No.
When are you going to the gym?
No, it's not on my. Thank you.
You are fit.
Yes, I'm fit.
You see,
I do evening walks. So
walk
that's my
walk to freedom.
I do walks around the estate, so that's
how many walks
exercise.
By the way,
up to an hour or 30 minutes. You
guys should drag if she needs to hit the gym. As you can see, yours faithfully is. I can't. I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying that.
The pain of
pain is an illusion.
Yes.
Pain is an illusion. It doesn't exist. That's our mantra.
So the pain is part of the gym.
Exactly.
It's part of the experience.
No, let me just do my walk. Walk is also an exercise. Like taking a walk, 30 minutes, 1 hour.
Trekking is different from taking a walk.
But the energy you expend while, let's say, you're on the treadmill,
it's different.
Yeah, it's more compared to when you are walking.
True.
Okay, I have preparing for the Olympics here, so
thank you. See, I think I have a partner here.
It's like I already see where this is headed toward. No, Allah.
Sorry.
God that vindicates men will fight for me. I have a few shout outs to give. Olubumi Olusegun, big shout out to you. Welcome on the show. Therapeutic Nurse 001. Oh, it's so good to have you.
Yeah.
Hi, Nakale and Ife. Hello. Welcome. And the Star Queen, welcome. Say, why am I just asking Ife? It's not Ife I'll ask. I will not ask her. Me, I know I'm gymming. So, end of this discussion.
See, this is another thing we'll ask after the end of July. If you are still going to the gym, if you are keeping to it, guys, please. We are keeping it in mind.
Can you imagine?
July, we'll ask you.
Do you know?
Do I know what?
Let me just save all the banter. Let's save all the banter.
Calm down.
So today's conversation, right? We're just going to get into it, and I'm particularly interested and invested in this conversation because of the peculiarity of what it means to society. We are living in fragile times, and I use that word with all sense of responsibility. We live in very fragile times. The Bible calls it perilous times, in the sense that what used to be the norm 10, 20 years ago is now seen as weird, and what used to be clearly weird is now seen as the norm. So it looks like culture is shifting, and it's shifting too fast. I mean, just a few years ago, there are certain things you'd see and you literally close your eyes. Now you have tolerance for it. So you get so that makes society, the rate of that evolution in society is so rapid that it makes us question a lot of things. And as such, it's our responsibility to once and again, every now and again, bring clarity on certain matters that have become clouded. Certain people don't even know where to stand as touching this. And today we are privileged to have Doc in the building.
Yes.
So we're not going to just be having objective conversations. We're going to be having professional insights, right? So today's conversation borders around ART. Now I'm just going to allow Doc to give us a little symposium about what ART is, what surrogacy is, and what it generally means in the most layman expression possible. Right, so over to you, Doc.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. You're welcome.
Okay, ART is an acronym for artificial reproductive technique. So it's under that you have so many other things under it: in vitro fertilization, surrogacy, gamete transfer.
So let me just ask, what's the difference between in vitro, IVF and IVF and surrogacy? Is there a difference?
Well, IVF is I would like to say, IVF, in vitro fertilization, just fertilizing the egg and the sperm outside the human. Yes, that's what it means.
Okay.
Then you transfer. Okay. So if you consider IVF is on its own, then you can do IVF on a surrogate.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So if, let's say, there's a man and a woman, let's say for reasons of low sperm count.
Yes.
So you need to be more technical, get the eggs and fertilize and transfer immediately so that they don't die off in the process and all of that. You can do it for the same couple that owns the egg and the sperm.
Okay.
That is IVF. Yeah, but in you can do the same IVF, but the gamete transfer, you are transferring it to the this thing.
Oh. So in the case of surrogacy, now if I understand you,
yes,
it is couples, one party involved, and then an external party.
Yes.
So it's someone on behalf of someone else carrying
the baby.
Pregnancy.
Yes, the pregnancy. So they carry it to them. So that's what happens. There are different types of it. There's what they call gestational surrogate.
Okay.
Gestational surrogate, a husband and a wife come together, they donate sperm and an ovum, they fertilize in the lab, they transfer to the woman. So she's a gestational.
Is it the wife or the surrogate? Who are they transferring it to?
They are transferring to the surrogate.
Okay.
Yes, a couple, husband and wife.
Okay.
They are here.
Okay.
Then the surrogate is here.
A baby.
Yes, a baby.
Because there are a lot of gray areas to this, I believe. I don't know. You're in the field, so you'd have better insights to this. I have a few questions.
Yes.
Number one, the psychological implication. What is the psychological implication of carrying a child? I know you're not a woman, but you probably have interacted with a few of them.
Yeah, true.
So what are the psychological implications of carrying a child for a whole term, for a whole 9 months to term, only to pass it on and say, person. Even though it's not your ovum, even though you are not involved in the process, you are just the host.
Yes.
What is the psychological aspect of that?
So I must say, the few I've seen is quite difficult, them letting go. Wow. In short, even through the whole process of, there's nothing fun about pregnancy, I must say.
Yes.
And it's not really fun. So it's when a lot of them say when they hear the baby cry, that is when they join, that fulfillment comes. Yes. So after all of that, giving out the child, it's not an easy process. You see them begging, please, can I have one more day before they give over and all of that. But most of the time, because you sign a lot of legal documents back of that you two don't even have any clue, and you've collected a lot of money from the couples too, and all of that. So it's not easy. I must say.
So in a case where something like this happens and the surrogate I think it also means that okay, so we're gonna have to take a very short break. I think people cannot hear, so we need to work on the sound. So we'll take a very short break, media. When we return, we'll get back into the conversation.
Hey there, talented host. Are you ready to shine on camera? Well, Ambience TV is looking for charismatic, Hey there, talented host. Are you ready to shine on camera? Well, Ambience TV is looking for charismatic and passionate individuals to host shows on a variety of subjects. I mean, from lifestyle to entertainment, to culture, and even education, right? We want to hear from you. We're looking for hosts who can bring their unique perspectives and energy to our shows. Whether you're a seasoned professional or you're just starting out and you want to see your personality shine on camera and shine through, well, we might just be interested in you. So if you're ready to audition, here's what you need to know. Number 1, submit a 3-minute video showcasing your hosting style and personality. Number 2, choose a topic you're passionate about and show us your expertise. I mean, just be free. And that's the 3rd rule. Be creative, be yourself, and most importantly, have fun. Don't miss this opportunity to join the Ambience TV family. You can send your audition videos to the number being displayed on the screen, and we cannot wait to see the emerging talent that you are. Good luck with your auditions, and we look forward to seeing your talent shine.
All right, welcome back, people. I'd like to apologize for the breaking transmission, but I believe that the sound is back. But let me know if you can hear me in the comment section. If you can see and hear us, you can just put in the comment section so we are sure that we are all on the same page, and then we can get back into the conversation. Don't worry, we got you covered. We're going to have this conversation definitely. So please let me know if you can hear. If the sound is good now, please put it in the comments so we are sure that the sound is good. Okay. Ifeoluwa says, yes, I can hear you. Awesome. Yes, it's perfect now. Thank you for staying through. And yes, please, like I said earlier, let's share the link. I want us to have as many as 200, 500 people join this conversation. It's a much needed conversation, and I'll be delighted to have you on it. Okay, so already we have Dr. Omoni in the building. Unfortunately, the dose of wisdom that he has been giving us, some of you did not hear it. So I'm going to have to ask him to, reiterate some of the things that we had said earlier. First of all, I started by asking ART, artificial reproductive technique. It's not my field, so pardon me. Right, ART, assisted. Yes, assisted. So what does it entail in a layman's, if you want to explain in a layman's English, with surrogacy, IVF and all of that, what does it entail? What are the differences and all of that, if you don't mind?
Okay, it entails just helping those that are unable to conceive naturally to conceive. That's what it means. There are a lot of things that causes infertility, so we don't want to go into all of that. So let's just streamline and talk to the surrogacy. So surrogacy is when someone, a separate female, is carrying a child for a couple, or a man and a woman. In modern times, I can't really say a couple, but 2 persons consenting to give birth. So you are there on your own. They get this the ovum, that's the eggs of the woman, and the sperm of the man. They fertilize and they introduce into a separate entity, a woman, to bear, serving as a host, like an incubator for the child. Carries the child for 9 months, deliver and hand over the child to the original parents. So
I asked a question earlier, and the reason why I need to ask that question again, I want to ask it again, is because of the weight of the question. I asked what the psychological effects, based on from experience as a medical practitioner, of people that have played this role of surrogacy in letting go of those children, having carried the child for 9 months, gone through all the rigors of pregnancy, and then at the end of the day you give birth only for your baby to be taken. What is the psychological effect of this on them? Okay,
like we said, it's not easy for them, really. Because we earlier said the process of pregnancy is a stressful one. It's quite hectic. So it's when they deliver, that's when they say the joy comes. They first cry, they are happy, they are now parents and all. So at that point it takes. So it's not easy letting go. But they had gone into a lot of legal agreements with the couples or those that owns the child before all of that. So they usually have little or nothing to do. You understand? So that's why I mentioned the different types of surrogacy. The gestational, whereby the woman is just serving as a carrier, Then the traditional, in this case, is the person, the surrogate that owns the egg. So in that case, when she just acts as a carrier, that's in gestational surrogacy, it's easier because she doesn't have any genetic makeup with the child. She just served as a host. But for traditional, they used her eggs, so she has a say. There's a legal binding there, so it's quite more complex. So a lot of
people don't do the traditional.
Yeah, they prefer to go for.
So if I can ask,
yes,
in the Bible, right? Okay. There's a story of Abraham and his wife Sarah. They couldn't bear kids, right? Yes. At some point they couldn't have a child, and then Abraham's wife, that's Sarah, offered him Hagar, which was her maid. Now, is that some sort of, can that be regarded as surrogacy?
That is surrogacy.
Really?
Yeah, that's surrogacy.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Natural, but in that case, the child is a full breed of Hagar and Abraham. Yes. Sarah is out of the equation.
Well, I don't know the agreement Sarah had with Hagar before all of that. But if the conversation was okay, give birth for me and give me the child.
Because actually that was what she said. If you read the scripture, she said, maybe God will have it that through her, God will give us a child. So the idea was that Hagar was going to give birth as it was some sort of surrogacy arrangement, I think, and all of that. So I said that because I've actually heard someone use these
as a means of argument.
In fact, the best kind of surrogacy is for the man to go and sleep with someone else. You know, this kind of, I know you've heard all those kind of things. Yes. Okay. Rather than going through all the whole medical process and all that, it's easier for the man to, so people always find justification. That's what I'm trying to say. Justification for anything they want to do. So the reason why we're even having this conversation in the first place stemmed from a video that we saw and that has been making rounds for a while now.
Yeah.
In a moment of time, we're going to play that video. We'll watch it. I want you to hear carefully what she says in that video. And then Ife is going to give her thoughts. And then we'll get into we'll hear what Doc has to say about that. So, media, if you're ready with that video, let's go.
No woman should attempt surrogacy except she no longer has a womb or for some reason she's unable to have children. Lies! Quick backstory. The other day I did a post and said if you're over 30, you're single and you want to have children in future, please freeze your eggs and every other thing I said. Internet people came for me. They said, Ife, people are poor. There's poverty in the land. Not many people can afford it. Even after I had said this thing is expensive. Okay, listen, I'm about to trigger the internet people again. If you're a woman, you have no fertility complications, you can carry a child to term, and you decide by yourself that you don't want to do that and you want to use a surrogate instead, your decisions are valid. You don't owe anybody any medical report, apology, or an explanation. Let's make the story personal here. I have a womb. I don't have any fertility complications. I'm perfectly healthy, but I'm still going to use a surrogate. I know many people are genuinely curious. Anytime I say this, they will always ask, Ife, why don't you want to carry a baby? You can carry a baby. You're healthy. I'm not going to tell you. I just don't want to use it. I don't want to use my womb, okay? You don't owe anybody any explanation. People expect that people who use surrogate or want to use a surrogate must have a tragedy story. It's not true. I don't have a tragedy story. Not everyone does. I figured out what offends people is the autonomy that a woman dares say, I choose not to go through childbirth and pregnancy. The audacity. It shakes the table that society has taught women to kneel beside. That if you don't bleed for it, you don't deserve it. That if you don't go through the pain of childbirth, the joy of motherhood is invalid. If you've believed this all your life, put your hand on your head and say, I'm unlearning this. I'm unlearning this. Thank you very much. Should women carry their babies if they really want to? Yes. Should women use a surrogate if that's what they really want? Also, yes. I know many of you will come at me with, if I read the room, even surrogacy is expensive. I'm reading the room, guys. The women around me can actually afford it. And the women who can't would do it if they could afford it. I pray that when it's time, that you have the means to do this if that's what you really want. But let's be honest, money is not the reason people are angry at the idea of surrogacy. People are angry because you have the freedom to choose and the audacity to actually act upon it. That seems to offend people more than anything else. But why? No woman.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, before we even go further, for those of us watching, it's a good time to begin to drop your own thoughts on this because I know the comment section on that post went bizarre. I mean, everybody went all out. There were some that supported her, but a large chunk of people disagreed with her. Now, we want to be very objective and look at the possibilities of that. And that's why we had to bring a medical professional, practitioner, I beg your pardon, to give us real-time perspective, very, very objective perspective to it. So let me start with Doc, because if I put Ife on the spot now, she will drive me. So Doc, what came to mind when you saw this video first?
Okay. When I first saw this video, I understand her point of view, but there's a little tinge of arrogance that was in it. That was it for me. So it's not it's a big issue. There are people that we say they are not psychologically ready to conceive. They have all this. Psychological sickness is a serious sickness. That is what causes people to you see people, they say their village people are talking about. In short, a lot of the prayer vigil that you see, people that are there, this psychological problem, depression, delusion of guilt, hallucinations, they are seeing things. So sometimes even goes to some people, mental sickness is worrying them. They will tell you that they are seeing vision in church. My God, it's a big issue. So someone who is not comfortable giving birth and has a partner that desires a child, I think from that point of view, the person is allowed to something like this. There are so many reasons that in the literature, indications for surrogacy, you have a structural anomaly. Well, let's say there's a problem with the person's uterus, the lady's uterus, hair. Then those that have had their uterus removed because of fibroid and all of that, those are structural anomalies, people that cannot give birth on their own. So then there are medical conditions, those with sickle cell, those with very serious heart malformations, they are also there, that cannot give birth on their own. Then there's a social factor. Social factor, they socialize those that does not want to lose beauty. Yes, those like gay, those that are homosexuals, lesbians, they get someone to conceive for them. Those ones, they are on their own category too. Then people that are too old, but you become too old.
Maybe you have reached menopause.
Not really menopause, maybe close to menopause. But you still have some egg reserve. You can get your eggs, you fertilize, and your children have left the house also, you want to have a small child to keep you company in the house. Then those that were divorced, they don't have the strength to carry pregnancy again. Those are all indications too. So that is it.
So to an extent, you feel like there is a little justification to what she says. Or there's an angle to which what she's saying might make sense.
Yes, there's a little justification to what she's saying. But like I say, the arrogance, if you are talking of feminism is just trying to give all women equal right. So the body you don't want to pass through, why are you pushing it on to another person?
So I would say that the whole idea, and this way I want you to come in, Doc, the whole idea of surrogacy and what do you call it now? ART. I keep forgetting.
Assisted reproductive technique.
Yes. The whole idea ought to be a saving grace. This idea ought to be a last resort territory, right? Where it seems like all hope is lost. And then because all hope is lost, we are at the verge. We have to now thank God for scientific innovations that can come to the rescue. So everybody stands a chance at motherhood, whether or not you have congenital, maybe you have issues, physical issues with your body, or even psychological issues, like you said. Everybody has a shot at it. But you see, one of the things that that isn't understood, and that's the reason why nobody really fights surrogacy. Nobody really comes against IVF and all of the whole assisted reproductive techniques. But the problem with this video and this lady's assertion that I believe is a subtle assertion or a subtle glamorization of this surrogacy as an alternative to traditional I don't know what you guys call it now, traditional reproductive techniques, right? Where a man and a woman married come together, give birth to offspring. In fact, this ideology is even one of the things that I believe fuels the LGBTQ community, because this is a propeller, this is an enabler, to put a better word to it, something that enables because one of the greatest arguments we have against the LGBTQ is how do you reproduce? So but now we have a system that supports it. Now if these things are not done within the confines of the morality that we stand for, which are last resort territory. When someone is at the end of their rope, there's saving grace. If we allow the glamorization of this, in the sense that anybody can just I can just wake up now and say, I feel like having a child, but I don't want
to go through this.
Okay,
stress.
I'll just pay some dollars and then I have a child. We have started baby factories. And see, the truth of liberalism, and I always say this, the problem of liberalism is that true freedom is in being accountable.
Yes.
When we build a system that takes away accountability from us, we have lost freedom. So to be free is to be caged, and to be, or let me put it this way, to be accountable is to be free indeed, and to lack accountability is to be a slave, because you become a slave of yourself. You become a slave of your proclivities. You become a slave of the things that you didn't even know that were possible. For example, I tell people, the Bible clearly states it this way, that because they did not retain God in their consciousness, God left them to their reprobate mind to do the things that were not convenient. So the Bible is acknowledging the fact that there are things that people do that they too know that is not convenient. For example, homosexuality. A man sleeping with a man, it's not convenient. Even the thought of it is not convenient.
Yes.
But when people engage in that act, the Bible is telling us that God has left them to themselves. It's reprobacy, right? So this idea of glamorizing IVF or surrogacy, somehow, with outside the context that I described earlier, which is a safe space where it's a last resort, would enable a lot of evil, a lot of malpractices. Already is enabling a lot. So imagine a young girl just wakes up and says, you know what, I don't even need to marry. The family system is being eroded on a daily basis. We see that happening. Now, with the advent of this, it automatically means that who needs to get married? I don't need to get married.
I get your point. True. It's a bit dicey, but again, in the course of my practice, I've had those that carried pregnancy up to 6 months and they said, fuck it. They said they couldn't just go ahead with it again. So they had to get rid of the pregnancy. I've had people like that.
6 months.
Just decided.
No health issues, no complications.
No problem. Yes, they just say no, they cannot continue with this. So call that they can say.
But at 6 months, is it not risky to get rid of the child?
You have a fully formed fetus, a baby. That is 6 months. That is about 24 weeks. In developed countries, if you deliver that baby in incubator care, that child is going to do very fine and thrive and do excellently well. But they will get rid of the child. I've seen it. I've seen people, after carrying the child for the complete 9 months time, they deliver the child. It's hatred for the child upon this, that. Child made them. They lost their shape. They lost their beauty. They lost all of that. So it's quite. So if that's what I'm saying. So for someone who is not ready, to go through the rigors of carrying a pregnancy, for someone, that is my own. You don't. It's
better to not force them.
Yes, don't force them. It's a mental health issue.
Then why have a child then?
Exactly.
You know, you've acquired so much. Who are you going to do good for?
Adopt.
So I honestly,
that is the point. That connection is not there.
How do you even want to connect to a child that you don't want to go through the stress of bringing to life?
It's different though. If you check it, lovers home, what they call lovers home, that is oxytocin. Oxytocin is secreted in the posterior pituitary. You secrete it. Why? That is what it's like. When you release it, it helps in the contractions of the mammary glands. Okay. So prolactin will produce the milk. Then oxytocin will contract and push the milk out. Helps the contraction.
So we asked a question earlier. Yes. So for the woman that did not give birth to the child, can she breastfeed the child?
She can breastfeed the child. Once you start breastfeeding, any lady wants to start breastfeeding. They say even men wants to start breastfeeding. There's a sensory center that produces prolactin. So it's a stimulus. It's a stimulus like rubbing.
So once the baby is put there,
yes,
over time, your body naturally responds.
Yes. Once you are sucking the nipples, the prolactin is going to be produced. Then that's why you see when women give birth, when they don't, that milk does not come immediately. Yeah. So it's not the pregnancy that's responsible for the milk production. So as we are sucking, you are stimulating that center, prolactin is released, milk starts flowing, oxytocin starts coming out, and all of that.
Okay, but there's a difference between being able to breastfeed your child and having a connection with the child.
Yes.
And even if the woman is able to have a connection with that child,
yes.
what about the stress of, if you are not psychologically, is that correct? If you are not fit mentally to carry the pregnancy, how do you think you will be fit to go through all the stages that the child will go through? Because pregnancy, like I've seen that pregnancy, as much as it is hard, as much as it has a lot of health complications, it's not even as hard as keeping the child alive, taking care of them.
Yes.
Because at that infancy stage, they literally depend on their parents. So how do you think you'll be fit to go through all of that and not take it out on the child and not maltreat the child and not just hand the child over to a nanny the same way you hand over the...
No, most of the time that's what we see. The handover is a shared responsibility between them and the nanny. You see nannies, babies calling their nannies mommy.
Yes.
Then they'll be calling their mother by name.
Yes.
Margaret.
Not knowing that that's
their actual mother. So that's actually the other. Even those that they give birth through natural means, it still happens. So that's not confined to those that are delivered through surrogacy.
Before we go, I want to read a few comments in the comment section. This is from Irao Christie. Says Hagar was just not trained as a slave. That's why Sarah had issues. Unlike her granddaughter's in-law, the amazed didn't have the rebellious mindset. Eliojo says, God, I beg you. Irao also says, still sha, there's just the joy of actually growing your child in your womb, and you will miss out on that. For what, really? Right? We can argue this back and forth, right? So one of the things that I've also noticed, Doc, with the new age movement, is that a lot of the agenda of the new age movement is to let people to do whatever they want. Literally, that's just it. Everybody just do what you want. So people are becoming more selfish in the sense that why would you, I believe, in my opinion, just like if I said, it's selfish to want to have the joys of motherhood and not go through the rigors of motherhood. Because it's just like saying I want success, but I'm not going to work hard. It's the same thing, cause and effect, right? If I want to become a doctor, I should go to school. If I say I want to identify as a doctor and I don't want to go to the school, but I identify, it's my pronoun. Doc is my pronoun, right? Imagine that. Now, would you bring a child, or would you bring anybody to my care for me to handle? No, you wouldn't, because that I say does not mean I am. It's the same senseless argument that people have even with the LGBT. I don't have time for LGBTQ today, but I'm just going in line of our conversation, right? When people say they want to, like for example, what she asserted in the video says once you're over 40 and you feel like you want to have a child and you don't want to carry the child in your womb, use your eggs and all that.
You know, that even goes to that her very point. If you want to go by that, it's quite valid. You know, menopause averagely 35 years of age.
35.
Yes, that's
35.
Average. Yes, average.
I thought it's like 50
in our society now. Let me not say menopause. Menopause gets above that, 50 years like that. But once you get to 35 of age, the chances of getting pregnant
gets slimmer.
One, then two, giving birth to malformed babies. The Down syndrome, you see, all of that improves. Yeah, from 30 upwards.
But why? So I was gonna ask. This was not the phenomenon. Why is there a degree? It looks like there's a decline in health, human physiology generally.
Yes, from the previous knowing, but
yes.
One, I don't think the depth of knowledge you have now may not be present in the past.
But it looks like they fed well.
It's not a feeding factor. Those are the issues with globalization and urbanization. As things are getting better, people are adopting unhealthy lifestyle practices like you rightfully say, feeding well. The kind of food they eat now, the kind of lifestyle practices, drink alcohol, smoke, all of that, stress, not resting, not doing exercise. So it makes the body body is just like every other machine you see. It's like a car. It's like all you can think about as a machine. So as you are stressing it, it's depleting. So those could also be a factor too. So all the chemicals that are releasing, the toxins from the vehicles, from the food storage, what they use to store foods and all of that. So they are worsening the health and the reproductive life of an individual as we get older. So this is also a very key factor in it too.
Okay, not to digress, so let me just stay on this point.
Yes.
When you mentioned 40, so when I went through the comments, and I think we have some of the comments, we might eventually reference them, but when I went through the comment, there was a particular comment that caught my attention when the lady was saying something about people should not now do it. She was speaking against the lady now, in the sense that she was saying people should not project their fears on others.
Yes, sure.
So apparently the lady in this video is over 40.
Yes.
And of course, not to bash out anything, allegedly, not allegedly, she's true. She was just once been married before, and now she's married again and all that. So it could be, or people believe that this is a personal prejudice, a personal fear and all that, that you have. So it's okay to have your decision. If that's what you decide, right? At least we can't beat you, we will not flog you. You have, at the end of the day, everybody has freedom of many things. Yes, your choice. You can make, even though we hammer what's right and wrong, you can ultimately, you still make your choice. Even God will not impede on that. But to come out as a leader of a community and then sell the narrative as though surrogacy should become the next glamour, should become the next celebrity desire. Everybody should forget the whole family, because the truth is, certain statements or certain cultures that we bring society might look innocent and might look as though they stand alone, but they don't. They have ripple effects.
Something on someone else.
Yes, it has a ripple effect. If you're saying, okay, forget the whole family system, let's just, if once you just want to have a child, you have your eggs, just go and look for, you know, what you're doing is that you are watering down the importance of family. And we know that family is not just for reproduction.
Yes, true.
The whole fabric of society is built on family. So if you break down the whole system of family through a subtle ideology you're bringing, you are invariably depleting the structure or the strength of the kind of society we have. Already, we see these things happening. We see that society is breaking down on a daily basis. As much as we are more technologically advanced, the rise in cases of even child sexual molestation and assault is on the rise. We see, as much as, okay, maybe now we are hearing about it more, because then I believe it still used to happen then, but now we are hearing about it more. So it looks as though society is taking a downward spiral, and then some people are calling for everybody to just be allowed to do what they just want to do. Now I want to read another comment that caught my attention. This is from Aurora, I guess. It says, from a Christian POV, why would God give you something and you don't want to use it? He gave you the ability to multiply by yourself, but you want to pay someone to multiply for you. Irawo Christian said, I could understand that there are reasons, but if it's not a medical issue, you will be making a huge mistake. As in, all the times that you will pray for the child in the midnight fetal movement.
True.
I mean,
those are some of the problems they even consider when you are doing surrogacy. Now, in short, some of the key screening you do before you get a surrogate is the surrogate social background.
Wow.
What is, in short, an assessment? You need to get a psychiatric review of the patient. Does he have any underlying condition? Someone that has issues with depression. If you have issues with depression, it's likely going to worsen with pregnancy.
Wow.
So the person may even take the pregnancy to some time, and you know, and the person is not a prisoner, so you allow them to live their life. They go about. You don't know what the person is doing. Is he drinking alcohol? Is he smoking? Where is the person?
So the baby is even at risk.
At risk, yes. Some will still go around sleeping with people. You can have STIs and transmission, HIV, hepatitis, mother to child transmission, all of those kind of things. So those are there. And even in a larger picture, if you look at it, someone coming to collect money to be a child for you, you know that person is not from a very stable home. The person needs a lot of moral support before they do that kind of a thing. So it's not advantageous in any way, unless you cannot avoid it.
And also, I also want to make a comment on this. Do you believe baby factories should be legalized?
Baby factories.
I mean, if you've seen the whole conspiracy around baby factories, where ladies are put in a place and they, he exists.
I get.
And then
they take care of them.
Give birth, they sell the babies. Give birth, sell the babies. It's a transactional thing.
No, that's a crime. That should be a crime.
So what then is the difference
between these and
between both of them? Really?
Okay. what's the difference between selling a baby?
Yes.
Okay, let's continue on the show.
because I just looking at it, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the principles are on the line. It's like the same thing.
Yes, true.
It's someone bearing a child for you, and you're paying for the child. You are literally buying the child. Whether it's your sperm, whether it's you are not the one carrying the child. So it's. I want to say something, but it will still be a blunder, because I would have said ethically it would have even been best that the man even does it like Hagar. So that okay, it is the man's child. Worst case scenario, this is the man's child. But of course, biblically speaking, now that's even still a blunder. So at the end of the day, what I will just like we said, we keep it at an open,
get back to
as
that.
an open question. Maybe someone in the comments can help with that. I'll read one more, or let's say two more questions. Someone said, if you're not ready, don't have the child at all. Simple.
Or
says,
adopt.
I mean. My third POV, excuse me. If you cannot sacrifice your body for your child, will you be able to die for your child? If it's not for medical or psychological reasons, carry your child. My point of view.
Thank you.
Margaret says, why Margaret do? sorry. Right.
My apologies.
Yeah. Ibuku says, you want a child, you want the job of a person who has a child, but you don't want to go through the process. It's not making sense. The truth is, what we are normalizing is actually a pattern to cure and help people who are not able to have a child on their own. Why should you abuse the privilege? And I believe so. This is something that should be sacred. Something that we should say, okay, we only bring it out when it's high. Worst case scenario. We should not be playing with it, toying with it up and down. Right? Someone says, I'm sure this lady is just saying this out of her own personal problems. She's just trying to validate her thoughts by manipulating others. And Therapeutic Nurse says, health decline might be happening then even. But the fact that the medical knowledge is upgrading on a daily basis is a reason why it's just being noticed very much in our generation. Just to chip in. Thank you so much, Therapeutic Nurse. So as we move on this conversation, in your practice, in your years of practice, have you had any experience of a surrogacy gone wrong?
Not really. I've not seen any.
Is it usually like 100%?
It's 100%. For the few, I've seen 3 in my practice. Okay. About 5 years of practice, ONG. So I've seen just 3. Okay. And most of the time, gone wrong like miscarriages, abortions, or refusing to. I've not seen any of those. That is one of the criteria in selecting surrogate. Yes, you don't select someone that's never given birth before. You get so at least 1, but no more than 5. You understand? Wow. Then someone that has not had more than 3 cesarean sections before, because medically after 3 cesarean sections, you don't go ahead again. So that is the condition. Pregnancy has what they call memory. So there you see people when they get pregnant, high BP, preeclampsia. Here they have high BP, they have diabetes in pregnancy and all of that. So when you have those things now, those things release some chemicals in the body that some people, when they deliver, it will resolve. But the next pregnancy is going to resurface. So those chemicals, those agents that were released in the body, they keep circulating around the body, keep moving, but in low concentration. So that's the memory we're talking about. Upon getting pregnant again, it's going to resurface. So if you go and select someone that was in her previous pregnancy, had preeclampsia, the BP was up, protein was in the urine, was a bad case, and you go and pick that kind of a person to be your surrogate, the person is likely going to have this kind of issues in this current pregnancy. Now you've complicated her life. The guarantee of this child making it is questionable. You will spend more money. So those are also part of the things you consider before selecting someone to be a surrogate. Yes. So that's that.
Okay, so there's another video, Ife, that I want us to play. This is Ife is deep in thought. I don't know what you're thinking about. What are you thinking about, Ife?
I'm just thinking about this whole issue.
So there's another video. So there was a response, a rebuttal by a popular Nollywood actress, Kate Henshaw. She did a response to that video. So we're going to play that video and then we'll give our thoughts before we move into the dilemma section. Media, over to you now.
I watched the first video and I was like, you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with you. Why do you think you can, and I just stayed clear out of it. It is a means to exploit people who are not financially capable. You just pay them and say, have a child for me. But then what will make you want to look after them? Are you bound under any laws or legal framework to make sure that they are taken care of before and after they deliver the baby for you? What are documents that are signed? What are the ethical? In short, there's just so much around it. Surrogacy is a thing of giving hope to those who cannot have medical complications and want to bring forth a child. It shouldn't be something to be done lightly, like you're going to buy a bag. Oh, I like this bag. Well, let me buy it. No, it shouldn't be. There are lots of emotions attached to carrying a child. Apart from the changes in the body, there's mental, changes. Women have PTSD. There's so much. They can die. So it shouldn't be something to be just thought of lightly. I hope Nigeria rises up to it. I hope we have laws that will actually work and not be suggestions, like you always say.
This is one bit I agree with you, that we just borrow some cultures initially, but even those cultures now, if you notice, superstars are beginning to get pregnant. They are beginning to discourage it through their media, making it fashionable for women to become pregnant again. Because there was a time where it was like a celebrity thing.
I don't want to touch my body. I want to look hard. You see this?
Heartbreaking.
Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So I got very excited when I saw this video because it very well captures a lot of my thoughts, my opinions on this matter, and a number of points were made. But before I even get into that, let me hear what Doc has to say about this. Do you agree with their assertions?
No, I agree. I agree 100%. If you don't have any reason to.
Yes.
But the society will fight it off. Everybody's looking for money. It's just even interesting to know that these surrogates we're talking about are brought by agencies.
So there are agencies that do this.
The agencies responsible for bringing surrogates.
Is that not supposed to be illegal?
No, it's not illegal by the law.
So I think, and this is where we even need to even speak out. Do you think, as a medical practitioner, do you think there should be laws that governs these things?
There are laws that govern it, but it's under the guise with which they come. For instance, even blood, you cannot donate blood and collect money. Blood is an organ, so it's equal to organ. It's equivalent to organ trafficking. Thank you. That's the word. It's equivalent to you selling somebody's kidney. That's what it means. Yes. So, but
who do it on a normal?
They do it every day now. They donate money, and the painful part is they collect 20,000. That blood that people are needing to survive, you come and give and collect 20,000 and go. So,
but also thank God you brought this up, because I've been meaning to ask. Now I have the opportunity. When people buy pints of blood, is that real human blood?
It's pure blood now, real human blood. We've not gotten any synthetic for blood.
That someone donated?
Yes, someone donated.
And they sell it because they're usually very expensive?
No, it's not sell. We don't call it sell. For hospitals, what you do is you pay for the consumables. Collecting blood, they use blood bank, they use preservative, they are paying the phlebotomies, they are using light to preserve the blood and all of that. Yeah, so that is what you are paying for.
Not the blood itself.
Not paying for.
Is that a fancy? Anyway, let me not put you on the spot. Because you sound like a fancy way of saying,
like where I work, for instance, they will we'll give you blood, but please make sure you bring somebody to come and donate that blood back. Yes. Okay. As you are paying the same money, get someone to bring back, donate the blood back. That's what they do.
Okay, so you don't have to pay for the blood that you are getting, but you just have to bring someone else to donate the blood back.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So now getting back to what Kate Henshaw mentioned, she mentioned a few things, and then the last man that spoke also made a point that I like so much. How that basically she was saying that if it's not, literally just reiterating what we've been saying, if it's not for medical reasons, this ought to be giving people hope, not you glamorizing. And then he made a statement and said even the celebrities, because this used to be a celebrity lifestyle, like you said, social reasons why people don't want to carry pregnancy through, because they want
effect on their body,
the effect on their body, they want to ensure that they maintain their shape, everything that comes with it. So in a bid to do that, they try to get surrogates. But now we see, and true, I mean, Beyonce gave birth by herself. Rihanna, I think
Cardi
she just got pregnant again recently, right? I mean, all of those people that people usually look up to, I'm like, oh no, this person, perfect shape, perfect. Everybody's getting into that. I saw, so I was on a YouTube page yesterday throughout the night. I was seeing there's a show called Jubilee. You know that show, that Jubilee, the channel Jubilee. So they have a show called Surrounded, where they have for example, yesterday, the one I saw yesterday was a conservative, Candace Owens. You know Candace Owens?
Okay.
She sat with 20, what do you call them now? 20, what do you call them? Liberals. Yes. Liberals. And then, so the idea is they will debate, literally, on, she has different claims. So her claims, and one of the things that Candace Owens is known for is that she kicks against abortions, she kicks against all of the, most of this stuff we talk about. She's an advocate for family, women carrying their babies and all that. And then I saw, one of the reasons why I like watching that show is that it reveals to you that there's problem. When you see people passionately arguing that there is no reason why a woman should carry a child, when technology has made many means possible to carry a child, why go through the traditional methods and all of that? And then the arguments keep coming and coming. So I don't know what you guys have to say about this.
But this talk could not end. It just don't bring some things up. It's just like me telling you trek from here. Let's say trek from Lugbe to City Gate. You can just enter your car, you drive there. So what joy is there in suffering?
But when I trek from the issue that the argument is different. When I trek from Lugbe to Karu,
yes,
I don't have any emotional connection with the road. It's not like the road, as I'm walking, I'm connecting with the road. But so this situation now, what that we make the comparison about, it's a child. It's a child carry, and we know that it is not just hosting a child and suffering. We know that there is like you said, there's a psychological connection. There is there is the hormonal connection. There's a reason why your biological mother is your biological mother. There are many women that can play the role of a mother, but the one that is your mother is your mother, regardless. Blood is thicker than water, as they say. So if we are not trying to rebuild the Tower of Babel, I feel like we are messing with what God. We are already trying to mess with what God has already stipulated, clean and clear.
If you have no issues, why not
carry your pregnancy to term? Yes, that should be the order. I think that should be the order.
And I feel like, as I say my final thoughts on this, I feel like the only reasons why we should explore surrogacy should be when there is a medical problem, where it's a medical issue. And then for the lady that put out that video and all that, if you're going to or you want to go through surrogacy, good and fine for you. God bless you. God help you. But I mean, we should learn I was talking about it the other day, the power of influence. Right? When God entrusts you with influence, you must be careful what you say and what you don't say. Because the things you say, you endorse. The things you even don't say, you still endorse. Silence is sometimes endorsement in itself. So we must be careful the stance we take. Because in this case, it was not a case of pleading the cause of IVFs and surrogacy. It was a case of glamorizing it and making it celebrity.
Another issue that I even have with her is what she said at the end is she is now trying to make it into a movement, like a feminist thing.
Kind of thing, sure.
That the real issue people have with it is because they can't fathom the idea of a woman saying that money I want to do this thing. And so that's not the case. That's not why people are against what you are saying. What they are against is the fact that something that should be a salvation for some people, that if not for this, they would have been childless. You are now making it a thing of fun, a thing of fashion.
I think her speech was two-sided. Because she said if you are over 40. I think that's some medical explanation to what she was driving at. So, but when she started going back to level it on finances again, so she's not being clear.
I wanted to also ask, how expensive is this process?
Surrogacy is expensive. IVF, I don't know, but on average, at least someone should have around 5 to 7 million.
So it means that this is not sustainable for everybody.
No, it's not.
it therefore means that if you're proposing this to be a norm in society, you are marginalizing the poor.
True. True.
Marginalizing and even taking advantage.
Yeah, taking advantage.
Because it's the poor that will come for the offer.
And then the poor
your fellow
enjoy
woman that you say you are fighting for.
If you have a poor woman that can't even that has the right reasons, a poor woman that has medical conditions why she cannot take in, cannot still afford that. So in itself, that should be a problem. Now you are now mounting the problem by saying it's totally unacceptable. So as a matter of final thought, Doc, on this matter, so that I want us to just lay it to rest, because we can go on and on and on about this. I still want us to talk about the dilemma. Ife is going to read the dilemma to us in a moment of time, but final thoughts. Someone watching maybe has questions around surrogacy, the safety, is it wise to do it, maybe has a medical condition, or that, would you advise that the person explores that option?
Any day, I would advise that you explore the option of surrogacy any day.
Surrogacy over adoption, which would you?
I will choose surrogacy.
Why?
I will choose because for surrogacy depends on if like structural anomalies, right? Yeah. I'm not trying to discriminate anybody.
Yes.
For structural anomalies whereby it's just some defects maybe in the woman's uterus that's making it unable. She's unable to bear. She has had removed the hysterectomy. They had removed the uterus at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe she had this is what they call PID infection. What women call PID, and they walk about this false smelling discharge, and they think it's not, and all of that. You can go and block the tubes. So that place, eggs not coming into the uterus. So even if the person gets pregnant, it ends as ectopic pregnancy. So you can choose to do surrogate, get the eggs and do all of that. So for those conditions, I will advise such persons to go for surrogacy, because in this case, you have genetic makeup of yourself and your spouse.
Yeah.
So there are traits that
the baby will have.
Of both of you. Baby will look like you. Then even traits, talking, skin color, attitude, and all of that. I would prefer that than, this my personal opinion, than going to get somebody entirely strange from the orphanage to come and put in the home. You have no history of the background and all of that. I think from that point of view, I think it's
solid. Thank you so much, Doc. And I like that we had this conversation not just from a emotional or sentimental angle. We also had the professional angle, and we are ever grateful for that. So I think this is the point where we get into our dilemma. So what is our dilemma for today, guys? And for those let me just give a brief background. For those of you that don't know what the dilemma section is about, I always like to reiterate. So we have people send in real life situations, scenarios, dilemmas, as the name implies, right, of cases of things happening, and they would probably need advice, counsel, just to get our opinions on those situations. And we have seen many times that this has helped people make better, more informed decisions, and people's life are better for it. And that's the reason why we encourage people, if you have maybe a situation, a sticky situation, or you have a dilemma that you like us to talk about, something around relationship, family, finance, business, medicine, whatever. Thank God today's Doc is in the house, right? You can just always send it in via the numbers being displayed and on our bio, and then you know how to reach us on IG at TV_redefined. So at this point, I hand over to Ife.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So on to the dilemma for today. Dear Trent, a very close friend of mine that we live not far from each other found out she was pregnant. She called me and told me about it, and I advised her not to abort it, but she said she couldn't keep the baby. I told her I've made a promise to myself not to be involved in abortion, either passively or actively. She asked me for the number of a doctor, and I gave it to her. On the day of the abortion, she asked me to go to the hospital with her, but I told her I couldn't. She later went with her boyfriend, and after everything, she sent me tons of messages saying I'm a bad friend for refusing to follow her to the hospital. I want to hear from others and know if I went overboard by not going to the hospital with her.
I think she even went overboard from when she gave her that number.
Thank you.
Because
he's passively involved.
Yeah.
He's passively involved.
So I want to ask, are there in Nigeria?
Yes.
are there abortion laws? Are there laws against
strong
abortion?
abortion laws? Though.
Really?
Abortion, yes. Now in the abortion laws, when they taught me abortion in my 500 level, I won't forget. At the end of the lecture, our lecturer quoted. I used to remember those laws in the law book of law. There were 3 of them. The person that the doctor that carried out the abortion, he had the highest term. I think he's 18 years in prison. Yes, 18 years in prison. The pharmacist that sold the drug, I think he's 14 years in prison also.
Wow. So
then,
when you're done, I'll ask a question on this pharmacy, because there are people that take there are these pills that people take that maybe immediately after sex they take the pill to avoid them getting pregnant. No, that one is contraceptive. It's not.
Yes, it's post P. Yes. Okay. So they are. So that person has. Then even you, the person that went to do the abortion, you also have your own punishment. I think it's 4 years. I don't know whether it's the person that did that has 18 years or is the doctor that has 18 years. So that, but there are 3 of them. Those are the 3 cadets they have.
How come it's so rampant then? If there's a law against it,
who is monitoring? Is there a regulatory body chasing those that do the abortion?
True.
Yes.
So I was gonna ask on this case of abortion. First of all, the moralities. What are the medically permissive, for the lack of a better word, situations where abortion can be explored as an option?
It's called therapeutic abortion.
Therapeutic?
Yes, that was the word, the term therapeutic abortion. So any abortion that threatens the life of the mother, it does not care how, it doesn't matter how old the pregnancy is, if it's 9 months, 8 months, although at that age, then it's no longer abortion. Again, they find a way to deliver, they manage the baby outside. But it doesn't matter. Well, at all costs, it's the mother's life that should be preserved. So there are so many conditions. A sickle cell disease patient coming down with so much crisis is an indication for abortion. Cardiomyopathy, those that have heart failure that was induced by pregnancy, is worsening condition of the mother. It's an indication for termination of pregnancy. It's abortion in medical terms. To have abortion, miscarriages for all of that. So whether intentional or not intentional, it's still abortion. But there's a way they call it therapeutic and criminal or illegal abortion.
Therapeutic is the one they do to save the life of the mother.
Yes,
when necessary.
And criminal or illegal is anyone done either by an expert, someone who is not an expert, in an environment that is not befitting. So that is also an illegal abortion.
And many times, the issue with abortion is that it doesn't go well. We see a lot of, so the rise of quacks and all of those things. So why? Well, I wish you're not a legal person, because my questions are even more legally inclined as to why are there no structures even within the medical body? Do you have structures that oversee people that handle pregnancies, doctors? What do you call them now? Gynecologists and all that. Is there a body that ensures that only those that are, well equipped have the? So, for example, we had a situation of someone that was supposed to give birth in a hospital and was asked if they had all the equipment necessary, and the doctor said yes. It was a private practice. He said yes, and the day of, or a few days to the delivery, there was a request to see the facilities, and their stories started coming up, and then we heard the person said that the stuff was under construction and all that. And in that kind of case, it looks like the person goes scot-free and all that. Is there a body that regulates this kind of
offense? There is MDC, American Dental Council of Nigeria. It's located at Gudu. You can take up the case there. The person will lose the license for life, because even if it's normal delivery, right? If you are taking a normal delivery, every facility taking a normal delivery must have a facility for theater, for surgery. Now, we define labor in retrospect. It's when you finish delivering the baby. That's when you sit down to define whether it was a successful labor or not a successful labor. Because labor can go anywhere. Can go anywhere.
In what sense, though?
You may be having a steady labor, cervical dilatation, baby gets up to 4 cm and there's arrest. The cervix does not dilate again. The baby has stayed for more than 24 hours. They say the son should not set twice in a labor. So that is the case you take to the theater immediately. Some persons you have arrest as you are coming, the baby said is unable to descend. Those kind of cases now, you have to do cesarean session. Now, in the process of delivery, it's a stressful process for both the mother and the baby. The baby may become distressed. Respiration is going down, down, down. You're beginning to get less than 100. Those are cases you rush to the theater immediately. You don't allow, even if you are sure this woman is going to deliver normally, you don't wait for her to deliver again. You take her to the theater immediately and you bring her the baby. So anybody doing normal delivery, that's spontaneous fetus delivery through the vagina, should have a facility to take
just in case, because anything is possible.
Theater, yes.
Wow.
So that's kind of a person. If you take that person up to medical and dental, they cannot be anywhere. They just have one central office currently in Abuja, but they're agitating to have an office at least one in each state capital.
Wow.
So when that happens, I think things will be more easier.
Solid. So now down to this dilemma.
Yes.
This person has an issue because she didn't follow her to the abortion
doctor.
site.
Yes.
But if by law, based on your definition, by law already, the person that even sent the number,
yes,
can she be implicated in this whole process?
Well, the law doesn't cover that. It doesn't say who sent the number, but well.
Okay.
If
But she's aiding and abetting it.
Maybe the lawyers can do that.
Yes.
But if it's Gary, but so she is aiding and abetting, which is a crime, and I'm sure there's a way to factor it into the law. So
and so there's certain matters that are a no-brainer. Actually, when it comes to our biblical stand about it, for example, the whole idea of abortion, and I'm excited that Doc is here. We're still going to talk about abortion laws, even in developed countries, and then as opposed to Nigeria, and the implications of that we see in society. But as it surrounds this dilemma today, this question, let me just say it clearly, right? God hates abortion. Abortion is not something that is within God's plan. Howbeit, we understand that there are certain times where, like you clearly stated, for medical reasons, in order to
the life of
whenever
the
life of the mother is being threatened in the process, and if there's going to be an issue with the whole birth process, it might be best to just find a way to so within that the ambit of that scenario, we can understand it is morally justified. But anything outside it, for example, you spoke about a child of 6 months being a fully formed fetus. It's already a baby. It's a fully formed baby. Now I shared about the video I was watching yesterday over the night and all. One of the claims, or one of the arguments that someone came up and was sharing and all that about abortion laws and all that, was that when do you say, at what point? So take for example, they claim that there is a point where the fetus is not yet formed, it's not yet a fetus, but the woman is pregnant.
yes.
Does that baby have a life? At what point does the baby have an independent life of its own?
Independent life. If you say
Okay, no, of course I know it depends on the mom, but like a life of its own.
If you say baby, if you say independent life of a baby is when
It's out.
delivery, when you detach the placenta from the mother, that's when you can say the baby is independent. Well, I think to rephrase your question, when do you say the baby is formed to be recognized as a fetus?
Yes, as a fetus. Thank you.
Yeah, from 2 weeks above.
From 2 weeks?
Yes.
That early?
It's that early.
Oh, okay.
That's why when you do scan, they say they feel heartbeat, cardiac activity.
Wow.
Although
From 2 weeks?
Yes, 2 weeks. You do a transvaginal scan, 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 4 weeks transvaginal scan, you see the fetus, the heartbeat of the fetus. But if you are doing an abdominal scan, anything above 4 weeks, you should see the heartbeat. So from 2 weeks, you see the heart beating, pulsating, when you do your scan.
So that's a human being there.
That's a human being.
So taking out that, so 1 week.
1 week, the baby is still trying to attach the wall and none of that, get implanted in the uterus.
But it cannot be noticed at that 1 week.
Well, for some persons, it's estrogen, progesterone will rise and causes some discomfort. Usually, people call it malaria symptoms. Throw up and all of that. So, but basically, most of the pregnancies before you diagnose is already 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's already 2 weeks.
And at that point, doing anything to that baby is tantamount to abortion.
It's tantamount to abortion.
At least in Nigeria, and it's against the law.
Yeah, it's against the law.
In Nigeria.
It's against the law.
Okay.
Okay, so someone said something here. So after abortion, there's a period of self-hate that is not spoken about because there are agencies trying to push for abortion. That's most likely why the friend called her to hate on her. What would you? And I want you to speak to the psychological effects, possible psychological effect of abortion on society or on the people on the.
Yes, I think it's I've had cause to do so to terminate some. Some have already been. Miscarriage, you had to evacuate the remaining product. It's dehumanizing. So even if you think all of that,
even you as the doctor, you get to have a lot of traumatic.
Yeah, no, it's not the first time I did. Is a human being. It's not. I wish I could demonstrate. If you could, like a MVA, just type procedure for MVA. You see, it will place you. Your legs are wide open. Your doctor is there. Your nurse is total stranger. You start digging camera syringe, just try to suck out all of it, and that goes on a few times until the whole thing is clear. There's nothing left inside. So it's painful, it's discomforting, it's dehumanizing. If you're walking on the street and you see this doctor that saw you in your lowest point, how do you feel? So of course, that regret is going to be there. Then the guilt, you've killed somebody, you've killed a child, is there. There you now trying to hide from the society. If you are seeing your family's house, your parents' house, all of that. So you find someone to push the blame on.
So there's a psychological effect to the lady being angry with her friend.
Yes.
It's more like deflecting the anger.
Good. I personally have my own first-hand experience on this.
Wow.
So a friend called me then, university back then, I think 200 or 100 level, thereabout. So he called, okay, this was happening. That his girlfriend was coming over. So okay, his girlfriend then came, he called me, called. I didn't pick again.
He wanted you
to accompany him to the place.
Okay.
So that was how our relationship.
He got angry also.
Ended. Yes. I've had that happen. As a doctor, I don't think there's any week that goes by that 2 or 3 persons or some message. I say, what are you saying like this? Me, I don't do that. In short, before I started the O&G thing, what I used to say then was I would tell them, our lecturer, but I'm not lying about this, our lecturer refused to teach us how to do it. He is a pastor that doesn't teach abortion.
Okay.
Wow.
That's what he told us. That was what happened. But of course, in the course of the practice, you pick up the skills. So all of that. So I think it's guilt, but self-guilt, trying to push it on somebody else.
On the friend.
Someone else. Wow. Solid. So the moment a child heartbeat can be felt, it's a fetus.
It's a fetus, yes.
And the moment you unalive the fetus, you are unaliving a human being.
Yes.
It's tantamount to abortion.
Yes.
So in developed countries, statistics shows that women that engage in abortions, like you said, have the depression rates. The depression rate actually is higher amongst women that have at some point had abortion, in the sense that like you said, guilt, sometimes flashbacks, thinking back, and especially when there's a faith factor. If you are the guilt that comes from your faith, if you're a believer and something happens like that and you get engaged in that kind of act, there is the guilt that comes with knowing that it's not just fancy word like abortion, it's actually murder. Right? It's tantamount to you killing someone. You have killed a human being, and that guilt is always there. So okay, I also wanted to say this as we go on. Maybe I'll just ask Ife to maybe comment on that, on the right response for someone like that to give to a friend.
Number one, like our doc said, the first mistake she made was in giving out the contact. In that way, you supported the abortion in some way, passively. Maybe not actively, but passively, because you gave her the contact of the doctor. But now that the whole thing happened, it's two things. It depends on the relationship that she has with the friend. If they are quite close and she understands, like if they've been together for a very long time and they are very close, so she might just have to take a pause and understand that this friend is dealing with some things right now. So when she's much settled, then they have a discussion about it, that it's not because I don't love you that I made the decision, but I can't, because I love you, do something at the detriment of my own well-being or my own faith or my own stand. So I love you, but I don't support what you do. And that's another thing about relationship or love. You don't, like, we should stop forcing people to buy into what we believe in.
Should normalize being friends, but not necessarily agreeing on everything.
So if someone is taking a stand that this is what I stand for, you should be able to respect what they stand for. So the friends should respect that this person does not support abortion.
It's not easy that way. I must say, my own story I'm telling you about. I knew the guy he spoiled me. He was giving me a lot of money. So you have to like that. Their relationship way back. Where are they coming from? How much have they committed to each other? Hey, maybe if you check back in school, you invest school fees before I had to maybe school my own parents to give you the money, all of that. So it's not always very, very easy that way. It's not always very easy.
Yeah, I understand it's not easy, but at least
sometimes it's not easy, but it just has to be it just has to be done. And I would also say that it's, first of all, someone says that this I very interesting. First of all, how did she know the clinic? It must be investigated. How did the friend even know someone? I'm not the person, so I can't answer that question. But yeah, that's a valid question. But the thing is, but really, let's think about it. How did she know the doctor that can do that?
Just a doctor. You called me. Can you? Just like you reached out to me. Can I?
But are you obligated as a doctor to whistle blow on someone that's because that's a crime that the person is about to commit?
So who will you whistle blow to now?
The authorities.
Where are you going to start from? You report the individual. MDCN does not have control over the individual. Or who will you report to, per se?
If police. There are laws against the individual.
Okay, but to even answer that, let's not even go deep. Patient confidentiality. You cannot do that. Even if I come to you with a gunshot to your abdomen, I see on the news, this person just robbed and killed 5 people. Your privacy, I'm supposed to keep it secret. I don't pick up the phone and start calling the police.
But we see that happen a lot.
No, it doesn't. Anybody that does that is an illegal act. If the police are coming the place and they get into that facility and they find you there, it's a different ball game. Yeah. But calling to inform the police that, okay, this person is under my custody, you've gone against the patient's rights, right of privacy.
That's
noted.
Noted.
So I just feel like we need to reiterate the stand on abortions and all that. So there are certain things that go on quietly, but almost on a daily basis, alarmingly so. Right? For example, this issue of abortion, this issue of people, like you said, there's hardly a day that goes by that you don't get at least 1 or 2 messages. You can imagine that statistic, and that's just you. And there are thousands, if not millions, of doctors and all of that get those calls and all to just commit abortion and all that. It means that we have not hammered down the importance of so it's a dicey situation, I understand. For example, someone is in the prime of her life, but of course you might say, where carry you go? Why did you go to Belém in the first place? But yeah, it has happened. The person has gotten pregnant, and the person feels like the presence of this child will destabilize my life. In fact, that's the argument that the whole liberalism movement has. That why allow a child dictate the next few seasons of your life? Because once you're pregnant, there's certain things you can't do. If you're in school, you have to pay on pause. If you're working class, you have to get off work, and sometimes without paid leave and all of a whole lot of argument around that. So what would you say to that, the possible trauma that surrounds all of that?
Okay, I think this is one of the few aspects of medicine that I don't have empathy towards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because before you get to the stage of pregnancy, you had the option to abstain.
Yes.
That was there.
Yes.
Number 2, the option to use a condom. That was there. Number 3, the option to take post pill, which you can take within 3 days after the intercourse. That was there. All of this, you didn't explore any of these options. Okay, let's say you couldn't abstain. You use a condom. Let's say you had a condom breakdown. You had 3 days to take post P. You didn't take post P within those 3 days. You are coming to me.
Take the baby.
So I don't really have any. I don't have any empathy towards this case most of the time. So when you tell me I'm blunt, like, no, there's nothing I can do about this. Please go somewhere else.
And that's solid.
Yes.
And I will just say this to probably encourage. I don't know whoever stumbled on this video and that might be in a situation that they're about to make a decision on that. You see, truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter how crazy it looks in the instant. Because I've seen it many times, right? I live in a real world. I've interacted with people that have had pregnancies out of wedlock and all that, and I know the shame that comes, especially in our society. I know the shame that comes with it. I know the subtle disgrace and disappointment that you become to your fold, to your family and all that. We're in Nigeria, we're in Africa, so it's understandable. But you see, I've also seen that many times those children go on to become one of the major reasons of joy, one of the major what will I call it now? Factors of joy in the lives of the parents. Because at the end of the day, this is a child, and every child is a blessing from God. The Bible says that children are the heritage of the Lord. It didn't say children that are born in marriage. It didn't say children. However, this is the right procedure. But if, for example, circumstances, it has happened and there's a problem and this child is born out of wedlock, it's still part of the children that the Bible says is the heritage of the Lord. So we should understand that at best we are stewards. Even the privilege to host a child is not because I feel like people have lost sight of that. When a woman can carry a baby, she just feels like, it's my body, I can make a decision. The child is still part of me, it depends on me after all. You know, I can make a decision. I even saw a video of a woman that sued her child. She tried to sue her husband for getting her pregnant. It didn't work. So she sued her child. That the child, it was like,
that woman needs to be checked.
She has gone psychotic.
I mean, she sued the baby that
baby spoiled her life.
The baby spoiled her life. And so crazy stuff happening around. So even if that has happened, I want people, we must normalize understanding that it always eventually turns out for good, right? And many times, at best, you are a steward of God's children. Are the heritage of the Lord. God is their father. You are just a steward, so you cannot decide when their life ends. You cannot decide. You might have been the process by which they come to this world, and in fact, the process might even have been wrong. You could have had premarital sex, and the child has come to is now in your stomach. Oga, you are a steward. You don't have the right to end that child's life because you are, in all honesty, you didn't create it. You were just a channel, wrong or right. We're just a channel at best. So if someone is watching this and probably contemplating whether or not, I know it might be tricky, it might be hard, it might be a lot to go through, but you can go through it. People have gone through it and have come out thankful to God that they didn't make that mistake. And in case, of course, to balance this, in case you have engaged in the act at some point in your life, you see, the mercy of God still reaches out to us and to you. Right? The truth of the matter is, as much as we try to have real conversations here, we also understand that there is a spiritual dynamics to these things, and don't live in that guilt. God has not designed you to dwell there in that guilt, right? You have done the wrong thing. Ask God for forgiveness. Seek counsel. Seek accountability. Speak to trusted leaders and have yourself so that you can be restored. There is mercy and there is grace that can be extended to you. And I think on that note, that will be my final note. Doc, final thoughts on this matter?
Okay, yeah. Just like we say, surrogacy should be explored for the right reasons. And abortion is a no-no for no reason.
Yes, I agree.
Abstinence till marriage is the goal.
Abstinence is the goal. Abstinence is the goal.
Yeah.
Oh, and also to answer the question, did she do something wrong by not going with her? No. It's good that you took your stand.
Yeah.
So the mistake is you shouldn't have given the number, but you've done it. That's fine. So you are not wrong by taking a stand that you don't want to go. Just understand for the friend at this season, if you can encourage her, if you can show her this video where we are giving her a word of encouragement that it's not the end of life, she can still go on, God still love her and all of that. But if still she refused to accept and she keeps calling you, labeling you as a bad friend, maybe it's just time to take a break.
You should tell people why she's calling you.
I mean, when someone asks her why you beefing this lady now, she should be able to answer and say, she didn't follow me somewhere. Where?
Before I even took a strong stand on this,
yes.
What a senior friend of mine, can't remember what happened. I called him on the phone. I asked him how did he terminate pregnancy. He explained the whole process to me. Then he told me that this thing he has explained to me is for therapeutic abortion when the pregnancy is threatening the life of the mother. And he has explained it to me because I'm a colleague. I'm a doctor, I deserve to know. Say, once you start doing abortion, they will label you to be an abortionist. So they start giving your number to people, calling you knows how to do abortion. So if she too, she go and tell her friend, follow her. When her friend is in distress, the way you do it, I mean, that's call her. She was the one that took me there. So she becomes a plug to people that are doing
abortion doctor.
What are the medical implications of abortion?
For implication of the complications to abortion. For complications to abortions, you can have they can rupture your uterus if it's done by a quack. It's like a process scraping the wall of the uterus and like that. So sometimes what they use is the camera syringe. Is more subtle, more soft, so it doesn't have so much effect on the uterus. But for those in the bushes, they use iron, they use suction, and they are bru. It's what they call D&C. Those ones is strong metal that they use. So that one they can rupture your uterus.
But even if she's giving something not to feel the pain, she will still feel it when she comes back to her senses now.
Yeah, when she comes back, she will feel it. Now they have injured the uterus. So you may even bleed to death in that process because of the injury that you get. Because it happens too.
And sometimes the womb is lost forever.
Yes. When they injure you, they will go and puncture the bowels. That's the intestine. When they puncture the intestine has rich supply of bacteria. So those bacteria will spread and enter everywhere. You have infection in the stomach, your womb is contaminated, pus will start coming out. They have to amputate it. That is one complication. The other complication, that process can scar your uterus and you may not, because in the process of pregnancy, when the egg comes, the sperm comes, it's fertilized, then it gets attached to the wall of the uterus. So if they scar the wall of the uterus,
there's no way for it to attach.
So that you have people like infertility, recurrent abortions, and all of that. Then some of it may be in an sterile condition, so it can cause PID infection. PID will go and block the wombs, the tubes, so eggs will not be released again. That's another nodus for infertility. So the array is long. It's long.
Better to just abstain.
You prefer that.
I want to read a few comments so before we wrap it up today. Let me start from this comment by Irawo. Says, from when you can do blood pregnancy test and show pregnancy, first of all, how did she know the clinic must that never spoke about, right? Irawo also says, in those developed countries, from many interviews of people who had gone through the process of abortion, they don't really tell them what it entails. Most abortion clinics are emotionally detached. So okay, I don't want to digress. Let's continue. I wanted to ask you a question, but let me not digress. Ibukun says, yes, being friends and not always agreeing on some things. Yeah, agreeing to what I said earlier. Irao says, I will advise my friend to read Atonement Child by Francine Rivers. Yeah,
that's a novel.
Mr. Upgrader says, there are no unplanned kids. You may not have planned for them, but God planned for them. Solid. Very, very true. And I agree. There are no unplanned kids. Blessing says, why should one take a post pill before 3 days after? Is it because the child has not started forming by then, doc?
Okay, what post pills does is post pills, when you take it, is combination of progesterone and estrogen, all of that. Okay. So when you are pregnant, the level of progesterone and estrogen in the body is heightened. Okay. You understand? So that is what prevents you from getting pregnant in subsequent times. When those levels are heightened, what it tells the body is that there's a baby
already.
Oh.
So now when you have sexual intercourse, to prevent the implantation, even if the egg is fertilized of the new pregnancy, when you take those post pills, heightens the level of the progesterone and
deceiving the body that there's a
baby.
Yeah, so you cannot take in a new baby.
Okay.
That is why you see some people, they miss their period once they take post pill within that month.
Okay.
It's not that it's not telling this one now so that
I wanted
you not
to
get OT. It's not that we have given you OT. Hey Joe, please. My sister, my brother.
Abstain, please. That's what we preach.
Okay. Ibukun says, I love that, sir. We are stewards. It's a sacred privilege, and you are not the creator of the child. Please stop killing. Irawo Christy says, read our comment. Elijah laughing emoji. So people said abortion can be linked to some cancers. Is there any truth in that?
If you scar, abortion is all linked to any abortion directly. It's all linked to any cancer. But when you scar the uterus, it has lost its architecture. So the new architecture now, the fibrous tissue can transform and all of that. But it's not directly linked to any cancer. The normal medical abortion.
Yes.
People take agbo, some herbs, concussions to cause.
Do those things really work?
They work. They say they work for them. People say they take Sprite and lime. It works for them. People say they take doxycycline.
Is there any medical?
Not that I know. That I know.
Anyway, this is not an abortion class, so let's
because abstain.
Yes. The reason why we needed to just say these things is that many a times, especially within the Christian fold, we shy away from topics like this, and it's the devil is bedeviling us with these things, and it's important that we are bold enough to have conversation around it and help and bring clarity, but also give a firm stand as to what Scripture says concerning abstinence. That's what Scripture teaches. Abstinence is very, very important.
And I think a case where this kind of information can be useful is in a case of abuse or maybe rape or something like that.
So in that situation of rape now, because this is a dicey one. I don't want to get into because there are a lot of parts to that. If someone reaches out to you that has just been raped as a matter of principle, and wants to have an abortion, what would be your stand?
I really can't help. It's still illegal.
Wow.
It's still illegal within the confines of the law. If the person is fortunate enough to, let's say you are not a kidnapped victim, you're able to leave that premises within 3 days, you start your post-pill, you do viral screening, HIV, hepatitis B, all of that. And it is a full workup for rape patients. Counseling is involved. It's a full workup. But if unfortunately you don't make it out until after 3 days of that, we may still give the post-pill, but the guarantee is not there. Because each passing day, the ability for it to prevent the pregnancy declines. So if it's more than 3 days, we may not be able to help you after that.
Amazing. Okay, we have a question finally, Doc. I know if we can only take a question like this. Someone is asking, please, Doc, can abortion increase the risk of fibroid growth?
The risk of fibroid, the definition of fibroid is actually a starved uterus. If your uterus has not taken, these questions are, if the older you are and you've not gotten pregnant, the more likely you are to get fibroid. That's why you see greater percentage of those with fibroid are above 30.
Above 30, yes.
You understand? So if you are doing abortion, you don't allow child to grow, and you cross 30, you stand a chance of developing fibroid, of course.
Wow.
Yes.
But is it possible for someone that has not been engaged, I've never done any abortion, just has kept herself, but develops fibroid?
A starved uterus, you are likely to develop fibroid above 30.
Wow.
As the age is going, start seeding. They say it's the body trying to fool itself, deceiving itself that it has a baby. So that's the way it goes, yeah.
Wow. I wanted to ask a follow-up, but I'm not asking. So someone says, even Irawakish Christie says, thank you for the clarification. You're welcome. Says, even if it's rape, read Atonement Child by Francine Rivers. The girl in the book was raped. Oh, solid. So I think it's a book you might want to look out for.
Check out.
Okay, I mean, it's been an amazing conversation, Doc.
I've
learned a lot. I feel like I should just get a lab coat now.
I'll give you one of mine.
For many reasons, but thank you so much, Doc, for coming on the show and for giving the much needed clarity to a lot of conversation and thank you for your stand as touching morals and then the standard of scriptures. Thank you for being a true Christian and an agent of God, even in that sphere. I know that there are a lot of people that their moral compass is already faulty, so they don't know, they can do whatever. But thank you for staying true to that and for honoring us on the show. We really celebrate you. Thank you
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have one final thing to do. So we know we have been saying there's going to be a way. Like, you put us were joking. If I shock them.
So the winner, oh gosh, I need my drum roll. The winner is
which winner now? What winner about? You just which winner by?
So actually, we asked the question, I think, from last month.
Yes.
So and we said we'll announce the winner
for
the question today.
Yes.
So today I want to announce our winner.
Let me give a little background for those of you. Maybe you have some people just watching for the first time, wondering what winner are they talking about and what is the question. Also, we have a giveaway section where we get to give our amazing audience, viewers, the opportunity to participate in a trivia. And we give different questions across different episodes of the shows, and we accumulate and get a winner at the end of the month. And we promise that we're going to do that today, and we have our winner for this month. And like we said, we have a mouth-watering gift for our winner. So I think drum rules are in order. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give Ife her drum rules, and the winner is.
Thank you. And the winner is Ibukun Elijah.
Is the one giving drum rolls in the comment section? Can you imagine? It's like you knew that he was going to win.
That's how God works. So
congratulations, Ibukun Elijah.
Yes.
You are the winner of this month's trivia and giveaway. Thank you. We're going to reach out to you. Yes.
To get your gift, reach out to the same number you send your question.
Yes.
So send your account number. So we are going to be giving you a very valuable. Honestly,
he said Jesus. Should I say my account number too?
No.
I know what to see. I'll give him in church.
My God.
Yeah. So the number on the screen, send your account number, and then we'll give you your.
You will not tell me that it's account number.
It's account number. Plenty money. So we just want to say thank you for being a dedicated follower.
Yes.
You are always
actually we want to really
comments.
Celebrate Ibuku. Ibuku is almost always online on, and you know, every time we have our episodes up and we say we celebrate you.
Thank you. So
this
we'll
new month,
I'm
looking forward to the rest of you beating Ibuku and winning it. Right? Thank you so much.
Yeah,
congratulations.
We'll start a new one next episode.
From the next episode, we have our next question.
Win.
So just follow through our episodes and stay consistent.
It's my first time here. You are welcome.
You're welcome.
We're happy to have you.
Don't worry, it will not be your last time. And then I have a feeling that you might win this next month giveaway if you just consistent. We celebrate you. All right, it's been an amazing conversation, and it feels like it shouldn't end. And to the whole bunch of you guys connected online, we say we love you.
Thank you.
We can't do this without you. And I just have one more request to make. We are already on 11.3k. I mean, the other day we were on 10k, and then we crossed to 11k, and we celebrated. Now we are on the road to 12k, and I believe that within this month, whilst we enter the new month, July, we're going to cross 12k with miles. Right? So I want to celebrate you and also encourage you to, if you're yet to subscribe to this YouTube channel, do it to subscribe, and share the link with your friends. Invite many people to subscribe. We have wholesome conversation that goes on here live every Monday, Wednesdays and Thursdays. We have trends live on Ambience TV, so you can just search Ambience TV on YouTube, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified whenever we have live updates. And also our Instagram. I mean, if you're missing out on our Instagram, you're missing out on too much. Just search TV_redefined on Instagram, and we'll be ever so delighted.
And also on our YouTube, we have a lot of shows, interesting shows that you can watch. We have
so many.
Purpose Discovery with Adek.
We have Nothing But the Truth. You have
Pray Love
It. Ooh, one of my personal favorites. I mean, you have an amazing array of shows that you can just stay and binge watch as though your life depends on it, guys. So that's our special invitation to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We couldn't have done this without you, and we say thank you. On the road to 12k, when we get 12k, we're going to throw a party. If is going to sponsor it to finish. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, what do we say to Doc? Thank you so much,
Thank you so much.
Dr. Money, thank you. It was so good to have you in the studio. All right, guys, till we come your way again next time, which is going to be on Wednesday, of course. Stay fresh, stay hip, stay happening. We love you, and we can see you next time. I'm run out of things I want to say, but yeah.
Bye.
Oh, thank you, sis. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. You can go on 3, 2, 1, and action.
In the last 1 year, I've been training, discipling, and mentoring leaders from across the globe, across different facets of life. We've had an amazing time of mind-shifting learnings and lectures together. A very serene atmosphere, where we can have heart-to-heart conversation. They can ask questions, and I can be there to answer. I want to specially invite you to join me for the second cohort of Femi Lazarus Mentorship Academy. It doesn't matter what your field is. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter where you are at. It doesn't matter the country you are at the moment. I want to invite you. Make sure you register. Use the link available with this video, and see you in class. God bless you. Have a good one.
Hey there, talented hosts. Are you ready to shine on camera? Well, Ambience TV is looking for charismatic and passionate individuals to host shows on a variety of subjects. I mean, from lifestyle to entertainment to culture and even education, right? We want to hear from you. We're looking for hosts who can bring their unique perspectives and energy to our shows. Whether you're a seasoned professional or you're just starting out and you want to see your personality shine on camera and shine through, well, we might just be interested in you. So if you're ready to audition, here's what you need to know. Number one, submit a 3-minute video showcasing your hosting style and personality. Number two, choose a topic you're passionate about and show us your expertise. I mean, just be free. And that's the third rule. Be creative, be yourself, and most importantly, have fun. Don't miss this opportunity to join the Ambience TV family. You can send your audition videos to the number being displayed on the screen, and we cannot wait to see the emerging talent that you are. Good luck with your auditions, and we look forward to seeing your talent shine.
In a world that moves fast, the past still pulls strings, and beneath every headline is a century-old story, begging to be told. From ancient thrones to modern trade wars, from forgotten revolutions to viral culture, we connect the dots others ignore, because to understand the now, you must first uncover the why. Ambience TV presents
has a way of bringing people together. It's a universal language that transcends borders and cultures. But when you have great food with great minds, the conversation is truly unforgettable. Welcome to Pray, Love, Eat, where we sit down with some of the most fascinating people on the planet and have conversations that are just as inspiring as the meals. And we're doing this at nowhere else but Farm City. Let's go take a look.
Good morning. Welcome to Farm City, Abuja.
Okay. You can go on 3, 2, 1, and action.
In the last 1 year, I've been training, discipling, and mentoring